Before we get into today's aftermarket analysis journal, I did want to say I believe I didn't upload on Thursday and Friday of last week, maybe even Wednesday, but I'm pretty sure I did. That's just because price action was so terrible. Like, I can't even explain how terrible it was. That was for sure the worst week in my trading career of price action that I have ever seen. And I know the past couple weeks I've probably said a few times, price action's bad, price action's bad, and that's just because we have been trading near all time highs, and again we broke all time highs. It's like we are just pumping, and yeah, it was honestly though the worst price action I had ever seen in my life for a full week. We would, you know, price would kind of move a little bit before pre-market and then coming into market open, but we had a lot of 10 a.m. news that week, and as soon as 10 a.m. news would hit, volume would just die out. We would have no movement. So, yeah, I mean, I did have a losing week last week. It was relatively small, but it was a very frustrating week and a very mentally draining week. It kind of got on me mentally just because I was really like looking forward to the beginning of June and expecting such a good week at hand. Just with how the week before was a losing week, but just the past couple weeks before, figuring out my model, understanding why I'm fully taking trades now, confident in my model. I've been back testing my model; it is profitable. My win rate is decent, and it just over a long term on backtesting it shows it's profitable. So I'm very happy with what I have going on right now, and I was just very looking forward to such a good week, and it was the complete opposite. Again, it's not even the fact that I lost, it's the fact of how much I had to sit on the charts and watch such lackluster of volume and just terrible price action with such high hopes of having a good week. And again, I don't necessarily mean that by profits wise, just taking good executions, having good setups, and yeah, enjoying taking my setups, knowing what I'm taking, and being super, super confident that they are high probability. But yeah, couple minutes of just explaining that, but it's definitely something I had to get out of the way because it could be very beneficial for the future. And it was a very important week, I would say, in my trading career of having to deal with that. But yeah, anyways, again, it was a small week. Or sorry, it was a small loss on the week. I did lose, I think, Thursday and Friday too. I just didn't video those trades because there wasn't really much to go off of. It was just I followed my setups when they had finally appeared. They weren't A plus by any means, but they were definitely qualified setups that yeah I see them, I'm gonna take them. It's just I'm having to worry about price, and price was just not aligning with anything. So yeah, now getting that out of the way, going into this week, we had no news on Monday, and today we didn't have news, and it's still, coming into the week with no news. So I really didn't even want to look at the charts Monday for sure. I said, I'm not even gonna look at them, which I didn't. And I'm glad I didn't because, I heard price action wasn't that good. And I even looked. Yeah, I think I saw a setup yesterday I could have taken, but still, I'm just glad I, took the extra time to get off the charts and not look at that. So coming in today, I said the same thing. I'm not gonna look at the charts, but I kind of did in the morning. Nothing I really liked. But coming into the PM, that's where I did take something. So I did get stopped at a break even on the day. It is unfortunate because it looked like a pretty good setup, but I'll show the error of where I went wrong and what I should have been looking for instead. So coming into the PM session, I saw that we were trading near all-time highs. I think it was around, no, it was not. It was around here, yeah. So I wanted to look for a long setup here. I don't remember if we had any sort of SMT. Yeah, I don't know, but I was looking at a setup here. I wanted to see an inversion within here, primarily this leg. I wanted to hopefully see something on the 2 minute and 3 minute, which I'll get into in a sec of why. But the only thing was this inversion here. But by that time, we had already taken out, or I don't know if we took it out, but we tapped and left a third set of equal highs. So, this internal draw of where my break even would have been had already been taken out. Perfect entry would have been if I could have had it, which again we don't. But if we had a fair value gap left within here, say entry here, target buy side here, and then stops below this swing low. Perfect 2 to 1. Good risk, a tightly a little over, but it's still within manageable risk on both my live account and especially on the combine accounts, and a perfect profit target that I would have loved to see. But we didn't get that, so I then wanted to wait to see us take out this buy side level here, which we ended up taking it out. And that's exactly then when I wanted to see price reverse and kind of have a rebalance into a sort of form of discount. I just saw we had left these equal lows. I saw we had left this 5 minute. And again, once we had got to here, I saw that we were not very far off from all-time highs. So I was wary about that. But again, it did look like a very good qualified setup. Actually, I think there was there an SMT? I believe so, but I could be wrong. Yeah, because this high, I think I think it was this high, but I'm not 100% sure. I just remember this had looked very good when I was looking at it, and I was very confident in this. And going back to what I was saying earlier, we had a 3 minute inversion. I do like, from what I've seen, 2 minute and 3 minute inversions, because they tend to usually not be such a big inversion. Meaning, from once price inverses, it's just it's not very far off from the inversion of the fair value gap, and from like a leg move, so stop you can keep relatively small. And I am more confident in 2 and 3 minute inversions because just a little bit higher time frame compared to 1 minutes. But yeah, we got the 3 minute inversion here. My fill was a little off. That is what I was a little worried about. I think I was like 3 points off of fill. So I was hoping that's not what was going to get me stopped at break even before a continuation lower. But that obviously wasn't the case. But yeah, again, I wanted to see us take out these equal low targets. I think it was more two sets, but right here, this is a relative equal low. And then, yeah, possibly tap into this 5 minute. It was also, between the 2 and -2, -2.5 standard deviation. So it was looking pretty good. But the mistake is we were, how I said I wanted to see like a tap back into discount of a range. I just wasn't really like marking it out. In more sense, it was just like thinking of a certain range, when what I should have saw is the range we were in, we had tap back into discount. And not only that, but we had tap back into a 5 minute here, as you can see. So we had tapped into discount and we were holding the 5 minute. I had seen it, I think, in the middle of the trade, but it's kind of one of those things where I was just hoping. This is again where it's now lower probability. That by this time I had already set stops to break even. As you can see, this swing low was my stop to break even, which was a few points, which is again which I kind of wish I would have gotten filled at 26, just because I was worried about getting stopped out at break even early. But yeah, so risk was already off the table by this point. But yeah, once we had got into here, I realized that, we were tapping into discount, we were holding the 5, and I was hoping to see us inverse this 5 minute, which if we did, I was very confident we were going to go lower for sure. But I had to see this 5 minute get inverse. If not down to these equal lows and not down to this 5 minute, I was hoping to see us at least take out this level of sell side, which again, very possible if we would have inversed this 5 minute, but we didn't. We ended up holding the 5 minute, coming into discount and getting bought out of discount and continuing higher. Once this had happened, this is where I said, okay, this is, the move that we wanted to tap back into discount before going to all-time highs. And that's exactly what happened. Now, there was a setup that I was looking to take once I saw that, but by that time it was a little too late. I'm trying to find it here. I swear it was on a 6 minute time frame. Let's see. Or hold on, what am I looking at? Oh, that's why, because I'm looking at old data. There we go. Yeah, so we had the 6 minute here. I believe that was the highest. Yeah. So the 6 minute right here was the highest time frame or fair value gap that we left going up that I wanted to see get inverse, which it did get inverse, but by that time I believe I was already looking right to here, and I didn't want to get a 5 point fill off, especially because one thing I've noticed over time is when we're close to all time highs like this, price slowly tries to get up there, and right when it looks like it's about to get up there, it dumps. And that's exactly what happened over here. I remember seeing it live. It price instantly just came down within the span of 2 minutes, and it's a pretty significant move. That could have been honestly my re-entry though, or not re-entry, an entry to get in, but I just wasn't thinking about that. Like honestly, was not thinking about that. I was more just thinking about getting in once we inverse here. But again, these higher time frames, it's a big, like, you have to trade it off of a higher time frame inverse. So my stop would really have to be kind of this swing low, and then also there's not much targets to go off of too. That's another thing. That was the biggest thing too, is like I didn't want to just target all-time highs and this be my profit, especially because now that from being down over the week and the last week too, I really want to try to maximize a good trade, but I am also trying to just find a setup like this and kind of how do you say, like, take those smaller wins, at least 1 to 2 small wins before catching a big trade, even though that's what I was trying to do here. But again, depending on how this would have reacted, I probably would have taken it off at this sell side level. But yeah, but it's just the 1-to-1 risk, and this risk is not something I wanted to risk either. So now, one thing I did notice too, and yeah, it did work out, but again, this is hindsight after this point that I looked at it. Again, before we had done it, I drew out the standard deviation. Figured, if we are going to go past all-time highs, and we probably will end up respecting the standard deviations. And yeah, we did. We literally came up, ended up tapping the 2.5 before rebalancing, and that would have been a nice little move to catch up on. I think almost about $1,000 in trading 5 micros, but that's hindsight after that. Nothing I can do there. And once we had passed all-time highs, I literally said, I don't want to look at the charts. I'm not dealing with anything because again, we could have hit all-time highs and we could have just chopped around that area too. So it is what it is. But yeah, stopped at break even for the day. I'd rather have a break even day than a loss. Especially just glad I was able to get off the charts after we had passed all-time highs. Did suck because I was on the wrong side. If I would have just waited a little bit to potentially get into this position right here. But again, like I said, little more risk than what I wanted to do. Could I have done it below these candle lows? Yeah, probably. That would have been a definitely better risk to reward. Or I wouldn't say better risk to reward. It would have been like a 1.5, but it would have been more in my standards of risk. And then again, I don't know confidently if I could have held all the way to the 2.5 standard deviation, although that would have been a very nice set of profit, even the 2. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for today, and just a little update of what happened last week. But I'm not gonna say anything about going into the week or anything like that. I'm just gonna let it play out as it is. Tomorrow is another day. I don't know if I'm gonna be trading tomorrow, just because we have so much high impact news. I really hope this does drive us to potentially go lower, or just have to start to see potential better price action going forward, because this is, we have CPI and FOMC data coming out tomorrow, which this is really going to drive the market tomorrow. And it would just be nice to kind of have a big move down to just kind of rebalance from all this, uh, green that we've been seeing and all this movement upwards. So it would just be nice to see a big rebalance to finally trade within some structure and not have to worry about hitting all-time highs every day or every other day. So yeah, that's it for today, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys next time.